In a seismic shakeup that rocked the WWE Universe, Dean Ambrose has made a shocking return from AEW, reigniting a fierce rivalry that has long simmered beneath the surface. No longer the lone wild card, Ambrose has aligned himself with Roman Reigns, forming a powerful alliance aimed at dismantling Seth Rollins' burgeoning empire. Once brothers in the legendary Shield, Ambrose and Rollins now stand on opposite sides of a brutal war fueled by betrayal, vengeance, and ambition. With Reigns' calculated dominance and Ambrose's unpredictable fury combining forces, the odds are finally evened against Rollins. This alliance signals a new chapter of chaos and conflict, one that promises to shake WWE to its core. The Visionary's empire on the brink. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins stood atop his world, riding a wave of confidence that bordered on arrogance. In recent weeks, he had forged an unexpected alliance with Paul Heyman, a man known for his ruthless intellect and masterful manipulation. Together, with Bron Breakker, the young, fierce muscle they had molded, Rollins had built what he believed to be an unstoppable empire. Breakker was the raw power, Heyman the cold strategist, and Rollins the heart and soul, the visionary destined to usher in a new era of WWE dominance. Together, they vowed to rule WWE with an iron fist, promising a new empire forged in fire and discipline rising from the ashes of the chaotic past. For a fleeting moment, it seemed they might succeed. The arena buzzed with energy as Rollins, the reigning world heavyweight champion, stood tall in the ring. Arms outstretched, he drank in the mix of cheers and jeers from the crowd. Heyman's calculating smirk lingered by his side, while Breakker stood sentinel like a beast waiting to be unleashed. Darkness falls, the moment. Everything changed. Then, as if the universe itself had shifted on its axis, everything stopped. The music cut abruptly. The golden lights flickered and died, plunging the arena into a suffocating blackout. The crowd's excited chatter turned into a tense silence broken only by the sudden crackle of the speakers. Then came 3 distorted, jagged guitar chords, raw and primal, that echoed through the cavernous arena, ripping through the silence like a thunderclap. Wild Thing blared through the speakers, sending a shockwave of disbelief crashing over the audience. The crowd erupted as one. Shouts of, "No way!" and "It can't be!" filled the air. But there was no mistake. Dean Ambrose appeared, hood pulled low over his eyes, fists clenched tight like a man walking through flames. Jaw set with grim determination, his steps carried the weight of years of pain, betrayal, and burning rage. Into the lion's den, Ambrose's relentless march. Ambrose reached the barricade but didn't pause. The crowd surged forward, their voices swelling to a roar of pure electricity as he vaulted the barrier with terrifying agility and slid into the ring with the speed and force of a predator striking its prey. Seth Rollins' once cocky grin vanished instantly, replaced by a flicker of pure alarm. Paul Heyman staggered backward, eyes wide with unease, while Bron Breakker coiled like a jungle cat ready to spring. Before any counter could be made, Ambrose struck with surgical precision, launching himself at Rollins and driving the ferocious dirty deeds directly onto the unforgiving canvas. The ring exploded with the sound of flesh meeting mat, the crowd erupting into a frenzy of cheers and gasps. The sheer brutality of the moment was a statement carved in pain. Ambrose was back, and he was not here to play. An unholy alliance emerges. Reigns and Punk enter the fray. But the chaos was far from over. As Rollins writhed in the aftermath, 2 more figures appeared at the top of the ramp, Roman Reigns and CM Punk. The arena's energy shifted again, nearly fracturing under the weight of this seismic moment. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief himself, had been laying low after years of ruthless dominance, but this was no simple return to reclaim his throne. No, this was a mission fueled by something far more personal, a cold vendetta simmering beneath his calculated exterior. Beside him stood CM Punk, the self-proclaimed best in the world, the rebellious voice of a generation whose razor-sharp wit and tactical mind had made him a master manipulator. These 3 titans, each with a legacy soaked in war, betrayal, and broken bonds, stood together. Not for unity, not for friendship, but for one singular purpose: the destruction of Seth Rollins. Surgical savagery, the assault on the visionary reigns, and Punk stormed the ring, joining Ambrose in a relentless assault on the man who dared envision a new WWE empire without them. Every strike was precise, each punch, kick, and glare telling a story of vengeance, pain, and unspoken grudges. This wasn't about championship gold. This was about settling scores, about exacting payback for the wounds Rollins had inflicted on their legacies. Paul Heyman, desperate and frantic, tried to intervene, screaming orders for Breakker to attack. But before Bron could react, Ambrose spun around, grabbing Heyman by the collar with a terrifying intensity. The Lunatic Fringe's eyes bore into Heyman's terrified gaze, his face twisting into a snarl as he spat a venomous warning. "You picked the wrong side, Paul." The symbol of destruction, shattering the World Heavyweight Championship. Ambrose reached down, grasping the precious World Heavyweight Championship that Rollins had so proudly carried. His sneer was one of pure contempt as he held the belt up, turning it over in his hands like a relic of everything he despised. This was no trophy. It was a symbol of a corrupt vision that needed to be destroyed. With a thunderous crack that echoed through the arena, Ambrose slammed the championship onto the canvas, the impact reverberating like a gunshot. The belt shattered the silence, a visceral message to Rollins and the WWE Universe alike. This wasn't about glory or honor. It was about obliteration. Backstage chaos and a changed WWE landscape. Backstage, the atmosphere was electric and tense. Seth Rollins, barely able to stand, screamed at officials, demanding that Dean Ambrose be banned from WWE. He pleaded with Triple H for immediate intervention, desperate to protect what was left of his crumbling empire. But the reports are clear. Triple H refused. With cold pragmatism, he told Rollins that WWE was no longer his to command, that the playing field had shifted dramatically, and that the consequences of his alliances had finally caught up with him. Ambrose, meanwhile, held the shattered World Heavyweight Championship with nothing but disgust. With a savage snarl, he raised it high and violently spiked it again on the mat, delivering a symbolic middle finger to everything Rollins had built and claimed. The belt that represented his reign lay lifeless, just like its holder. The war has begun. Brotherhood turned battlefield. The crowd's frenzy reached a fever pitch. CM Punk stepped over Rollins's crumpled body, microphone in hand, delivering a message etched in ice. "Welcome to the end of your vision, Seth." This wasn't merely a feud or rivalry. It was a full-blown civil war. The Shield's past, once forged in brotherhood, had shattered under the weight of betrayal. Now, the ghosts of their bond had become demons of vengeance. The alliance of Reigns, Ambrose, and Punk might be temporary, but it was a unified front fueled by raw hatred. Seth Rollins's empire was burning, reduced to ashes by the very men who once called him family. Uncertainty and loyalties. Who stands with whom? Backstage, Bron Breakker was spotted laughing, a disturbing sign of unpredictability. No one knows where his true allegiance lies. Is he a secret ally to Ambrose's cause, or simply a wild card reveling in the carnage? Even Breakker, known for his fearlessness, appeared rattled by Ambrose's return. Roman Reigns remained silent, his mere presence speaking volumes. The tribal chief hadn't returned to reclaim the throne, but to bury the man who dared build a new empire without him. CM Punk's motives, as always, remain enigmatic. But one thing is clear. He's playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. He saw the cracks forming in Rollins's ego and struck with the cold precision of a master strategist. The burning question: will Seth Rollins survive the ashes? The battlefield is set, and the war for WWE's soul has ignited with brutal intensity. Seth Rollins, once a brother in arms, now stands as a hunted enemy, caught in the eye of a merciless storm. His empire, built on ambition and vision, is crumbling in the fiery wake of betrayal. As alliances fracture and new powers rise, Rollins faces a crucial crossroads. Will he survive the inferno that threatens to consume everything he's fought for? Or will he become nothing more than a cautionary tale, lost to the ashes of his own making? One thing is clear. WWE will never be the same again. The era of chaos has arrived, and with it, a war that will define the very future of the company. Let the battle begin.